All right, Virgo, new moon. That's what we're talking about today. Reporting to you from my new space, new-ish space on the Bruja block. Grateful to be here. Shout out Bruja block. Olivia, thank you again for creating space for me. I'm excited to be here, and I am excited to speak about these cards. So we've got the mauve card. It says emotional flexibility on the bottom. We got Amazonite, and we've got the Five of Swords. And so all of these cards, all of them have to do some degree of the specific need to balance our mental, emotional, and physical. And obviously, yes, this is true all the time, forever. We're constantly working on balancing those things. But the specificity of these three cards is really speaking to how right now in this moment we're being tested. And that is reiterated by this Five of Swords card. If you look at it, it's not the most comfortable of cards. Fives are always a chaotic number. It's somewhere between problem and solution, the question and the answer. And it's the middle of the story between 1 and 10. 5 is the direct center. So it's like we've come some way, but we still have some way to go. And the swords has to do with the air element. So it has to do with your mind, how you think about things. And the swords flying in the air, and they cut the earthworms. Earth, like really the most grounded thing. Earthworms are these amazing creatures that compost, and then they turn it into nutrient dense soil, and they can literally be what fixes an entire ecosystem by maintaining the soil. And it gets really scary when you see all these swords cutting up the earthworms, until you realize that earthworms, when they're cut in half, just continue to grow. That's how they create new earthworms also. And so it's impossible to say without telepathically communicating with the earthworms if they feel any pain in this situation, but I would assume that there would be some level of pain when you're cut in half. And what is happening right now is the death of the capitalist corporatocracy society. The last death rattles of this society are going off right now, and they are screaming for any amount of control that they can have over your mind, your body, and your emotions. And only thing that we can do to protect ourselves right now is to get ourselves balanced, to get ourselves in tune with what it is that we need to feel safe in this world, and how can we communicate that effectively to the people that we trust, and how can we know who we should trust. And so then Amazonite comes up. And when I see this card, I really, you think of, is Amazonite. It's named Amazonite. It looks like a river. Literally, the stone kind of has this soft luster to it that's not actually shiny, but kind of more of a like soapy consistency, and a easily carvable. And it's called Amazonite because it was thought to be in the Amazon. They haven't really found traces of it there, but nonetheless, it's named after a river, and it gives you those cool river vibes of just like letting it flow, like letting things come and go, and understanding that the water will continue to flow. And even if it dries up, there's going to be another rain, there's going to be another snow, there's going to be more processes that happen that push all of this energy along. And so Amazonite is also said to be ruled by Virgo, which is interesting. So and it's all about really being able to take what's going on in your mind and ground it into what's going on in your body. So again, it's that same dynamic, because Virgo, they're all about analyzing. It's all about judging, for lack of a better term, like not as, I'm not saying that as a criticism against Virgos. It's that the ability to judge a situation, to understand how you can be most beneficial in the situation and how the situation can run most effectively all together. And Virgo is also this sign of truly understanding yourself, because it's the end of the cycle of understanding yourself. From Aries to Virgo, it's the development of self. From Libra to Pisces, it's the development of the connectedness of everything. So Virgo is the epitome of understanding self. And this is what season we're in right now. It's also the harvest season. So it's giving of yourself. So we're in a time of understanding ourselves and learning to give of ourselves. And this is more important than ever as we go into these times of more madness, more of the world as it was crumbling, and everybody, you know, people keep saying this term, the new normal, the new normal. This isn't the new normal. This is just a period of time that we have to go through in order to get to a better state of being. We have to let something die in order to get to that new thing. Like in terms of wildfires in California, the indigenous people here knew that wildfires needed to happen. And when the fire cleared a certain area and through controlled burns, it could create an actual healthier ecosystem and for more things to thrive in a more productive way for this specific territory. And so there's something to be learned by going through the fire, except this Amazonite wants us to go through it softly, wants us to like really understand that we can take our power into our own hands. We can set the boundaries. We can speak to our needs. We can identify what our needs are and then speak to them. And that was, you know, that's what this whole time of like inner focus. And I think that the more that America as a whole chooses to be an individualist society, the more we're going to be forced to go inside and figure it the fuck out. And so, you know, we're coming up on flu season. That means flu, cold, COVID, everything else that comes with it is just going to bump right back up. And everybody's starting to get a little bit lax. They're feeling a little comfortable, even though people keep dying. They're just feeling comfortable because they don't care about people dying, because we're an individualist society. And when we can change that, and I'm not even trying to like change that on a wide scale, because, you know, people are going to do what people are going to do. But if we could get a percentage of us to get on the page of understanding how to get grounded in ourselves, how to care about each other genuinely, then we can make some real strides in our situation. And this last card, the mauve card, emotional flexibility. And so also, purple, it's a third eye chakra card. So it's all about the pineal gland and understanding how we get actually connected. This is the pineal gland is brain. All of the glands are brains. The glands have the neurons around them, and they're firing. They're all their own brains. And this brain is tapping us into the subtle realms, the realms that are beyond the physical realm. Now, we need to tap into this to understand what is for us and what is not for us, what we should be spending our time and energy on and what we should not be spending our time and energy on. And so right now we need to like understand our emotions and understand that we can be flexible with them. For me personally, I've been super, super internal. I've been super locked in, not talking to anybody, like not even talking to my best friends, because that's how internal and like emotionally in my feelings that I've been, especially the past few days. And I also understand, even when I'm going through that, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely telling a story right now inside of myself that I am sad, I am depressed, I am overwhelmed, I am scattered. And I'm telling myself that, and I'm like feeling that. And then I'm wondering, what could it look like to imagine that I could get through this particular time with grace, adaptability, understanding of the situation, and understanding of myself, and understanding what I need, and being able to speak clearly about that. So this card really hits me in exactly how I've been feeling. Is you can have whatever emotion that you have. You're allowed to have those emotions, and also you're allowed to understand that you have the ability to change them, that you have the ability to be flexible, adaptable in your own emotional situation. And it's up to you to figure out how you're going to flow through it. And it's also understanding that, like, we can't stop the constant onslaught of bullshit every single day. We cannot stop the fact that every time that we pick up our phones, and I already know, if you're like me, even though sometimes I'm okay with, and I can get myself to like give myself an hour before I pick up the phone, usually I wake up in the morning and I'm right on this thing. And I'm right in there hearing about whatever god awful news happened in the like 5-6 hours that I didn't have my phone up in my face. And so a lot of us are like that. A lot of us are being hit with onslaughts of the bullshit. And it's painful. It's painful. And we know that it's not going to stop. And just because 2020 turns into 2021 doesn't mean that any of this is going to stop. In fact, because we've ignored all of the warning signs for so long, it's almost 100% inevitable that more and more and more things will get piled on top of each other until we really, really sit down and realize how to protect ourselves and how to allow the emotions and the physical and the mental to kind of just flow with whatever's coming at us, and just hold on tighter to each other. Do our best to hold on tighter to ourselves and what it is that we need. So all of these cards are really just asking us to, like, how can we get centered in ourselves, centered particularly in what we're thinking about and how that's affecting our physical body. Because that's another thing about Virgo, is generally it's one of the signs that is most easily affected when their mental health goes off. It immediately affects the physical health. And so in this season, we may find more of that, even if we aren't Virgos ourselves. We may find that our minds are spinning on things and it's affecting us physically quickly. So take this opportunity to really sit with yourself, really define what it is that you need to feel comfortable and safe in this moment. Focus on the present. And then once you have defined that for yourself, figure out who cares about you enough to care about your emotional state, and reach out to them and say like whatever it is that you need, and see what kind of reactions you get, because this is going to tell you who to be investing your energy in. Because as time moves on, it's very more than anything important that we are paying attention to what we're investing our energy in, because our energy is our wealth. Our health is our wealth. And we can only mitigate our health by mitigating our energy. So please take care of yourself, listen, speak from I perspectives. When you're talking to somebody else, don't make it about them, make it about you. Figure out what it is that you need, express that clearly. Thanks so much, and look forward to seeing you more soon.